Today on AGetc, we're joined by Terry Holdren, CEO and General Counsel for the Kansas Farm Bureau. He shares some exciting news with us about a bill to allow KFB to offer their members health insurance, rounding out their portfolio of plans offered. Then Senator Jerry Moran talks about the next generation of Kansas farmers and ranchers. Next, Dan O'Brien KSU Economist gives some insight on the future corn market. Ignacio Ciampitti shares some tips on corn management, and we'll end with a recap of the recent calving schools offered by K-State Research and Extension. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Good morning, I'm Terry Holdren, CEO and General Counsel at Kansas Farm Bureau. For the last couple of years, we've been hearing from our membership about the concern of rising health insurance or health care costs. If you look at the statistics and the data, individual or single policies over the last 5 years have increased about 176% in their cost per month, and a family policy in the same individual market is about 217% in increases. Typically, those are plans that are purchased on the marketplace or the exchange that was created by the ACA, and we've seen those plans continue to escalate in cost. Last fall, there was a nationwide survey. 65% of respondents to that survey indicated that the cost of health care was the most significant threat to their ability to stay on their farms and ranches and continue to operate and produce the food, fuel, and fiber we need for the nation and around the globe. So we began to look at options and have introduced legislation in the Kansas legislature that would allow Kansas Farm Bureau to create a health plan, a member health care benefit that would be non-compliant with the Affordable Care Act. That allows us to individually underwrite and rate the participants in that plan and price the plan in a way that will be more competitive, or in some cases 30 to 50% of the cost of plans available on the exchange today. So we're moving those bills through the House and the Senate, in the State House the next few months, and look forward to the opportunity to establish plans that will be responsive to the needs of what our membership have and what farmers and ranchers across the state, and small business owners for that matter, need and able to continue to operate their business, to support rural economies, and just do good work for the people of Kansas. So we have some experience. Back in the 1920s, as you all know who know the history of the organization, we started property and casualty insurance companies. At the time, the reason was because farmers and ranchers were considered too high risk by the property and casualty companies and not being covered by for those risk management needs that they had at the time. It's a similar story today, and since we do have that history, this is a space that we understand a little bit. We're learning the healthcare side of the thing, but we certainly understand the risk management and the insurance side of those opportunities. And so this is a natural fit. It also rounds out the list of products and services that our agents can offer. So we'll have life and property casualty, and now health gives them a full plate of services that they can offer their clientele and their members. The other reason, it really takes a financially secure and strong, well-established organization to do something like this. So Kansas Farm Bureau, with a statewide presence and 100 years of history, has the ability to marshal the resources necessary to stand up the entities that will be required to pull off this kind of an offering. So if you want to track the progress on the legislation that's happening, you can go to kfb.org/advocacy and sign up for our State House alerts and our action alerts, and engage in the process yourself if you want to tell your members of the legislature what you think about the need for options and affordable care today.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com. And you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com. And with any questions you have, we're glad to answer and work with you.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide. Presented by Lucas Oil. Featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV. The all-new Better Horses Network.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
This is Jerry Moran. I'm home from Washington, D.C., Senator from Kansas, and it's great to be here. All the divide that we've seen in our nation's capital, we need to figure out ways to come together. It's great to be with young farmers and ranchers and with Kansas Farm Bureau. It gives me an inspiration. It shows that we can come together and good things can happen. And it says there's a bright future in Kansas for farmers and ranchers, for agriculture, and for our state. And a lot of what I'm about in Washington, D.C. is trying to make sure that whatever our hometown is in Kansas, it has a future, and that young people can raise their families there as they were raised. And the program by Kansas Farm Bureau, this Young Farmers and Ranchers, demonstrates that there's lots of people who want to see that goal accomplished. Well, I attend a lot of County Farm Bureau annual meetings, and over the years the age has decreased, and we see lots of young farmers and ranchers involved in Kansas Farm Bureau at the local level. We need to start our engagement at home. The difference we make in other people's lives is probably the most important thing we can do, but clearly what happens in the nation's capital has a consequence for the future of farming, for the future of agriculture. And so the opportunity to have conversations for me with this group, to hear what they have to say, to know what's important to them. How can I make a difference for this new generation of farmers and ranchers? Today we talked about certainly the Farm Bill, we talked about ag labor, the importance of exports and trade agreements. There are big public policy issues that are critical to the future of these young people to be able to continue farming. But we also need to make certain that our communities are alive and well, that we keep our hospital doors open, that we have a physician in the community, there's a pharmacy on Main Street, the grocery store is viable. Lots of things that most people across the country never have to worry about are still basic issues for us. How do we have the necessities, the things that matter to a community? And as we try to attract and retain young people in communities across Kansas, those things are even more important.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
You don't have to be a farmer or rancher to become a Kansas Farm Bureau member. Anyone can join. As a member, you'll get discounts on things like hotels and entertainment, health and wellness services, cell phone plans, and more. You'll also strengthen the lives of your fellow Kansans and help build strong, prosperous communities through agriculture advocacy and education. Join us today. Visit kfb.org/join to learn more.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
I'm Dan O'Brien. I'm Extension Agricultural Economist at Kansas State University. I talked this morning at the Kansas Corn School in Lawrence about corn market outlook. In general, there's a mix of positive and cautionary factors to consider, and probably more positive than in a lot of years where we're sitting here in January. The issues that are affecting first soybeans and potentially corn production in South America could have an impact, enough of an impact on the market that it could affect U.S. farmers' perceptions about price prospects and the profitability of corn and soybeans here in the U.S. So that and market facilitation payments that have certainly helped financially for U.S. soybean producers as well as grain sorghum producers could have an impact on the willingness of those producers of U.S. producers to plant those crops. Again, farmers will vote with their planters in terms of what they're going to do. But in general, even the USDA has come out, and whereas the projected season average price for this marketing year, again, marketing year 18-19 ending on August 31st of this year, is about 30 cents lower than what we're projecting initially for next year, which is about $3.90. And of course, the USDA has got strong usage dialed in and little lower yields. But at least as you look at that number right now, that's indicative of some careful thought that needs to be given with regard to where markets may go and works against just assuming the worst. And I think cash prices of late have been reflecting that. Here, new crop corn, as we were speaking this morning, is over $4, $4.01. Thought-provoking to look at the option market. The option market is basically charging about a quarter, only a quarter, for prices for protection to the downside. That'd be put an at the money put. So what does that mean? If they were really concerned about prices going down, that's 40, 50, 60 cents. It's only a quarter. So even the options market itself, as it sits here today in mid-January, is indicating some I guess, positive perspective on where new crop bids could go. And we will see, I think over the next 90 days, we'll see what happens in Brazil for crop development. 90 days from now would take us, let's see, February, March, April 15th, we're starting to plant corn. And so then by that time, farmers will have taken in prospects for soybeans, prospects for corn, and they've most of them have probably bought a good share of their seed, but they'll have finished up their seed purchases, and then action will be happening in the field, and we'll see where it goes from there. Any information that I put out through Kansas State Ag Economics will come out on our Ag Manager website. Again, www.agmanager.info. So that would be the place to look online to find any of our presentations. And we have other social media outlets too, but that's probably the key one.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Darrell was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. I'm not going to go out and make trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities. And it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
This is one of my favorite bits that I make. The name I give this bit is the Derby bit. I had a roan head horse that was running through the bridle with the chain bit, and I made this bit here. It really worked good on that horse. I sent this bit to Donnie McNeese, who breaks in cattle for Jeff Smith and Ike Cox, and I said, ride this bit on a lot of horses, see how you get along with it. They did. He said, Bull, that's really a good bit. Fits a lot of horses. Then I give this bit to my good friend Brent Wright, who I make bits for. And I said, see how this bit will work on a reining horse. I call him up a couple months later. I said, Brent, how you getting along with that bit? And he said, good. He said, you don't need it right this minute, do you? And I said, no. He said, good, because I'm down here in Texas and I just won a big futurity riding that bit. And when Brent got home, he gave me the buckle that he won the futurity with. I'm really proud of that buckle that Brent Wright gave it to me, and also that he got along so good with my bit.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
My name is Dr. Ignacio Ciampitti. I'm an associate professor, cropping system specialist, corn specialist at Kansas State University and Department of Agronomy. Today we are here wrapping up the last of the 3 schools, the corn schools that we target for this winter season. The schools were located, the first one on the central part, then we moved west, and then this one today finishing on the eastern section. There will be a few more pre-planned schools that they will come in February, so that will be targeting more specifically few topics connected to water, Garden City, Newton, and then Parsons, so be in touch and reserve your spot for those schools. Today I would like to provide just a brief overview of main topics that we discussed on the corn production side for corn. Still critical topics related to corn production are connected to planting date. We discussed in the school looking at irrigated high-yielding corn. Planting date seems to be not really a relevant factor. Most of our farmers tend to plant as early as possible with the goal of increasing yields. But when we are looking for environments that they might be more susceptible to stress, weather conditions affecting corn, and environments that they usually target 150 bushels or less, in those environments we are conducting research on looking at planting date. And our goal is specifically trying to see if we can target the most susceptible part of the growing season with the best environment. Best environment related to more precipitation and lower temperatures, connected on the summer conditions. So based on that research, and it's still in progress, we're looking at, in some scenarios, getting the corn planted late. And when we are discussing our late, we're looking at late May or early June. Is giving us more stability. Means that we are placing this flowering time, 2 weeks around flowering, the most critical time in corn, into a much better conditions, and we are able to maintain yields, in some cases even improve yields, as compared to really early season planted like mid-April or late April. That was one of the factors that I discussed. A second one was connected to seeding rates. Seeding rate is a critical factor still. Matching the right environment, the right yield connected to the right seeding rate is still relevant. We discuss reducing seeding rates in low yielding environments and trying to maintain an increasing rates as the yield, as your target yield environment goes up. This is relevant, and not only relevant for different fields, but even for within the field. Many of our farmers have a lot of variability within fields, so matching the right environment for the right seeding rate within the field is also relevant to increase profits. One of the last topics that we discussed was related to late nitrogen application in corn, and we emphasized the point that we are seeing that not always late nitrogen application in corn is productive and is increasing yields, but we are seeing that in some scenarios late nitrogen application increase yields, and in some other scenarios we are seeing that if the growing conditions are not favorable to decrease or maximize yields, we're seeing that applying nitrogen too late in the season, going to flowering time for environments that are low yielding, is not really adding too much benefits to our farmers. So this topic of, timing of the nitrogen application is still something that we need to start looking at. What is the productivity of my field? What is expected weather conditions? And trying to see if we can match the right field, weather conditions for the right timing. So that is just a summary of the main three topics that we discussed. We also were emphasizing the maintaining a crop rotation, which is healthy for improving yields, looking at different options in terms of hybrid selection. I think that we can still find hybrids that they will do much better in some of our environments. And finally, we kind of wrap up with the concept of looking at different row spacings.
Tarwater Farm and Home is a 40-year-old local family-owned business. Clothing for work and play, seeds and feeds, boots, toys for the kids, and tools you'll need for around the house and farm. And a service department to keep them in top running order. It's a big store, so take some time to see what they have for your farm and home. Tarwater's everyday pricing is like others' sale prices. When you need it, they've got it. Tarwater Farm and Home, 4107 North Topeka Boulevard.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
I'm Derek Sawyer, and I'm a fourth-generation Kansas farmer. I've known all my life I wanted to farm this land near McPherson, which was my grandfather's before me.
I'm Katie Sawyer, a journalist who never dreamed I'd live my life on the farm until I met Derek.
We've married our worlds to help educate consumers about the rural lifestyle and all that farmers do to provide safe and affordable food.
Watch our story and the stories of other young Kansas food producers at kansaslivingmagazine.com/meetafarmer.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandering with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
We just got done hosting the 5th out of 6 calving school with Kansas State Research and Extension. I was able to visit on different bull and heifer selection strategies to fit not the producer's individual environment, and some things to really consider in making those decisions, not only for the betterment of the cattle, but for the betterment of their operation. Dr. AJ Tarpoff does a fantastic job in presenting as well.
These whole schools to give the practical, hands-on, real-world aspect, where we have the full cow module that producers can visualize what happens on the inside of the cow, how we can manipulate these calves to ensure that we get them out safely and effectively as possible. But really, it's all about the discussion. Questions where we can have the one-on-one conversation with producers to make sure that we are answering the questions that they have year in and year out as it pertains to calving.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.